because I would like to hear who you are, and then obviously to see whether I could tailor whatever I'm going to say to your interest. So, Christina, what do you do? Where did you go?
Yes, I'm interested in the new competition that are coming, and also I'm registered in the secretary competition, which is ongoing since 2019.
Right. Okay, I think I know because I'm preparing already for this secretary competition. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. Good. Cornelia, where are you in the process?
In the process, I have already applied for the data protection competition.
Sorry, say it again. I don't hear it well.
I have applied for the data protection competition, and I'm open to new opportunities that I'm hoping to learn from you today and always. Just yesterday, I was appointed DPO from the university here where I work, and I'm happy to share this with you live.
Thank you. Thank you. We have done some kind of work for that, did we?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Very good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Marco, could you show up so that we see with whom we are talking? Good.
Yes, good morning.
So tell me, where are you in the whatever processes you follow?
I am in a selection with DG Reform.
Right, to do what?
Structural reform programs.
Well, I could imagine if you go for the DG reform that you will do structural reform. My question is,
exactly.
You personally, what is that you do?
Now, currently, okay, I'm a teacher for the European Commission.
In what?
In economic governance, European semester, and the recovery plans as well.
I could imagine.
Economics.
All the bunch there. Okay, good. Vanessa, right?
Hi, yes. Well, I work at the European Research Executive Agency here in Brussels. I'm a temporary agent, and I'm looking forward to new competitions for ADs, ideally 85 upwards, as usual.
Ideally 89 at least, Vanessa. But okay, that's our story.
Yeah.
Very good. Good, Vanessa. Deborah, what's your challenge?
Hello. I'm currently working as a contract agent to the JRC in ISPRA, and I've been in the process of the selection for the secretaries that the competition opened since 2019, yes.
Well, we should do better than you have done until now, right? Right, when my question is, what do you do? I'm not so much interested in contractual agent, which is a contract, and I could imagine that you are in a temporary basis, obviously. Otherwise, probably you don't come to me unless you want to become DG. So what I'm asking is, what is your domain of expertise? Because this is that defines you, you see, not the contract. Keep in mind, your domain of expertise describe or presents who you are. So Monica, who are you?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for being late. Was on the phone until last moment. Yes, I'm working.
No, that's more important. So that's why they're on the phone. The others have nothing else to do than to come at 12 precisely.
Yes, I am actually working with medical recruitment and administration, and I'm on the verge of trying to change my career path, and I started applying for some competitions, and I'm during a competition that was open. Actually, it was ASTSC, but I'm looking forward as well as someone previously said, for AD competitions to be open. So
so it's like Christina, Monica, Deborah. There are three in the assistant competition, the one that we know, and obviously as they have better education, or let's say more not better, different education, they will go for another career path, obviously. Victoria, if you don't mind to show yourself so that...
I would, but my camera is not working. I'm sorry. I'm just in the process of replacing
okay,
my device.
Victoria, tell us, next time you do your camera, so tell us, who are you?
Okay. Yeah, so I am an environmental law professional. So I am just finished my university studies, my law degree, master's in law. And during my law degree, I actually took a year out because I was selected to be a Blue Book trainee. I just applied on a whim and got in. So I spent 6 months and I had to take a year off from my master's degree, but that's why it's a bit delayed in graduating. So now I've just finally graduated and I work in the UK actually for the Office for Environmental Protection. But because I have that background of working in environmental law at the Commission, I really want to go back eventually, potentially, maybe I'm looking long term, 1 to 3 years. So I'm just starting the application process and looking how to do everything. And I took some, they have these events when you're a Blue Book trainee where they talk about the Epso and the selection process. So I learned a little bit about it and I'm just kind of trying to get back into it now and learn more about it and hopefully find some success and work back at where I used to, which was legal service.
What I would say is, Victoria, that you should not only follow, let's say, law in environmental protection, which is quite a niche and might be that doesn't come in competitions, but you follow law mostly because this is your qualification, and then we'll see later where you go from here. But you, as well, you could do, if ever there's a competition on environmental protection, which is not necessarily law, but is the other domain. So it's kind of open up from your niche into something larger. And then, we follow several paths in the same time, and hopefully one of them will take us to the good end. Marina, let's see. Who are you, Marina?
Hello, I'm sorry, I cannot connect because I'm connected with a hybrid from European Parliament and the camera is not working. I'm so sorry, so apologize for this time. Okay. So I work in the European Parliament in DG Expo and the Euromed unit, so it's for parliamentary diplomacy. I'm working as assistant, but I have degree in law, economics, and administration sciences, and I have a master in politics and a master in diplomacy. So I am applying.
We could measure the frustration, my dear.
Yes, that's right. So
there is no need to tell us the rest. We understand.
Yes. Yes. So I managed to pass an AST competition, but at the moment I have applied last year for this external service ES competition. So I still don't know what's happening with that because I received
for the moment, and we are waiting for the follow-up.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pass any AD competition. So that's my situation.
That's the conclusion of the talk. Absolutely. Mirela, who are you, Mirela?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we do. We cannot.
Okay, perfectly. Because I cannot really turn off my microphone and I cannot turn on my camera. So really sorry for that. So I am a project officer working for one of the executive agencies in Brussels. I work in project and program management. And to be honest, I'm here today really to hear more about
be honest with us.
About opportunities.
Otherwise, we cannot advise you on the career development.
It's really exactly so to look at what is coming up in terms of next competitions and job opportunities.
You say function group 3, right?
Yes, I am currently function group 3, but actually today I received an invitation to go for a Epso exam for function group 4. So I'm also at the same time preparing for the CAST exam.
So if you need help, I could accompany you through the whole process. I know what you're talking about. Okay,
yes, thank you very much.
Except for this, then obviously whatever competition comes for, or as appropriate for ADs, right? Agne.
Yes.
Agne, hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Who are you?
I am an HR assistant at DGHR, working from ISPRA. And as most of the people in this group, I'm currently preparing for this secretaries competition for the next phase for the assessment center. Although it's still not sure whether, because we are undergoing this eligibility check right now. But I would just like to bring myself forward.
Yes, and on the other hand, Agne, probably as we discussed already, you go for this, and then you go for the next one, and for the next one, and for the next one. And the ones that had our sessions on Skype, my motto on Skype is the, how is it called? The black belt. It's a white belt who did not give up, right? So please keep that in mind. And this is your life, and this is your professional career. Stay there, right? Stay there. And there is another thing that I love, which is the, how to say that? In Latin, they say, fortuna audaces juvat. That means the fortunes helps the courageous ones, right? And courageous could see persistent. So stay there, right? Alina. Alina? Okay, so then Julia. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I was disconnected earlier and I missed part of your discussions. I guess you're still at the introductions round?
Yes, who are you, Julia? So then we have a feeling what we are talking about here.
I'm currently working as a project advisor within one of the executive agencies. I participated in the last competition for the External Action Service, which is still ongoing.
Okay.
And I also keep an eye on the upcoming competitions, those that are supposed to be organized this year, but we don't have yet a calendar. So I'm very much interested as well as other colleagues, I guess, in the new rules of the game, so to say, because I understand that there is the new procedure on Epso, on the way they organize a test. So I don't know if you have more details on that.
That's what I will talk about. So that means 80 competitions, right? This is what you say.
Indeed, yes,
right.
yes.
Alina, are you there? Hello? Hello? I don't like this. You know, when somebody comes, should stay. If not, you don't come to. Anyway, so let me see. So what I was saying is that my presentation today, but obviously I have, that's why I wanted to have a dialogue so that you could ask me questions. Sorry. That I would like you to tell you how I accompany my clients, and then on the other hand to ask you to ask questions about things that are more specific, concrete for your case. So that is to say that I accompany my clients from the very beginning. Now, the very beginning is rewriting the CV, writing the talent screener, writing the 4 questions of the application, right? So that is the first step. Now, what could I say? I believe that if you are serious about a competition, you should start with a really the first documents and do the highest quality that you could imagine, right? And you know, sometimes my clients say, could I bring you the CV I have because I work so much on it and and I said, well, I have never seen a good CV yet, but okay, bring it along, right? And then I'm starting to recreate the CV according to what I think is a good quality. And then I'm telling you, this is the latest experience or so. And they said, okay, now I understand why you were not happy, because it's nothing to do with what they presented as a fee. So I would say, and I'm just having in mind, you know, one of my clients, he went for head of unit in DG research, and then he was selected and he's a head of unit, blah, blah. But the moment I want to give you is that the head of the selection process told him after he said, "This is the best CV that I have ever seen." Now, could you imagine? And obviously he wrote me on WhatsApp, "This is the best CV that my president of the jury saw," right? And he said, "I owe you this feedback." So just is to say that CV is not the same written by different people. So keep in mind that. And obviously you go in a competition, you want to show the best of yourself in the CV, in the 4 questions, in the talent screener, right? So this is the first thing to do. And as I will take you through the whole process, the only thing I could say is that for some of these actions, we have to work in an individual session, obviously. And for some others, we could work on group sessions. And you will see, so I would say that these 3 should be rather done in individual sessions, because obviously it's your CV, it's your talent screener. So there is no point to organize a group and then I cannot, satisfy anyone with it. Now, once you have that, there is another, test in the competition lately, which is an MCQ, right? MCQ, that multiple choice questions in the domain of competence. Now, I insist on the fact that they are in the domain of competence, which means that you have to revise the substance. I think, Cornelia, did you have this already?
No, not yet.
No. You are preparing, right?
Yes.
So that is. So you have to revise the substance, right? Now, for example, today, I'm revising the substance with my clients in 85 law. This morning, I was revising the substance with a client in 86 agriculture. So I would say that almost all the competitions will have content in your domain of competence and might be, not necessarily, but might be an MCQ, right? So that's why this is a very important session, because you have to know how you revise, right? You cannot just revise by reading, you know, I'm reading the whatever legal framework of the commission. No, it's not enough. It's a serious revision, because that will come out in an MCQ, but it will come out later in an oral presentation, will come out in a written exercise, and might be the interview in the field. Makes sense? So because of that, the revision is fundamental, and the way you revise is fundamental. So I'm thinking about Marco. Certainly you have a lot of knowledge. The point is that your knowledge is, they won't give you 2 hours to explain. You will have to shoot from the hip in 2 minutes. What are the principles for the recovery package? Makes sense? So it's a different way to revise and to make your fiches for the revision, so that you can then give a 7 minutes presentation on the, I don't know, reform process in member states. Makes sense? It's a different thing. It's a different beast. Good. Now, so this is one thing. Now, I could do it in, in group sessions, but obviously will be general. But if I would do then in individual session, then will be obviously tailored to your competition, tailored to your domain of competence. So next, once you do an MCQ, probably you enter the assessment center, right? Which is what happens, I would say, almost all the time. Now, the assessment center has in maximum 6 stages or something like that, right? I'm giving you the maximum, right? And then obviously some competition takes some, and then others. But it could be an oral presentation. Now, oral presentation, I do obviously in the group sessions. I mean, I do everything in group sessions, but some of them would be better suited to doing individual, so that I could really correct what you are doing or improve what you are doing. So the oral presentation is mostly based on the file. So you have a file and you have something like half an hour to prepare, and then bang, you have to talk for 10 minutes on that subject. So that is the point. In the group, obviously, I give you the protocol on how to do the preparation of the file and the structure of the presentation and how to do the presentation. In the individual session, I will check how you present. You see the difference, right? So let's call it that in the group, I transfer the knowledge to you, whilst in the individual session, I check what you learned or what you are doing. Makes sense? So it's a different, you see what I mean? What they call dynamic, right? Or a different direction of the transfer. So, for a presentation. Another thing in the assessment center is the written. Now, there are two writtens. What they are, how to say, they are playing now with two writtens. One is the case study, and the other one is the written test. Now, the case study, it's a written, let me write a briefing to your boss based on a file that does not belong to your domain of competence. Makes sense? So you do read, you understand, you organize, you reorganize, you create a structure, but all the information has to be there because you don't know the domain. Makes sense? And for example, last year, it was the DEFCO, Development Cooperation Competition. They had a case study. Now I think that for the 86 agriculture, they will have a case study. Makes sense? So it's still there and competitions are doing it. Not in the domain of competence. So I would say that mainly is comprehension of the information, organize this information, structure it, and make a briefing, right? So that's the purpose of the exercise. Now, what is the difference with the written test? In the written test, then it's in your domain of competence. So let me say that the written test is quite similar because you have a file and then you have to make a briefing to your boss. Now, the difference is that here, you are supposed to invent the solutions and to invent the content because you are supposed to know. You follow me? So if in the case study, I could go in every competition I want because the case study, it's not in the domain of competence. If I would go, for example, the last one written that I've done was the DEFCO competition. You see, I could do a lot in terms of communication, organization of the briefing, blah, 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 but I could not know the content. You see, so here is the difference. So my clients brought the content in our coaching sessions and we prepared their written test based on their knowledge. Makes sense? So I kind of gave the form, but they gave the content of that written test. You follow me? So what we have seen is that they give the file 2 weeks in advance. You have this time to process the file in all directions you can. And then the day of the exam, you go there and only then you have the assignment. So the file, let's say the background, you receive 2 weeks in advance, but you don't know what they will ask you to do with that background. So because of that, what I've done with my clients is to learn the file by heart in all directions, right? So it's like I did not leave stone unturned. You follow me? Because what I said to myself, if they know the file really upside down and inside out, then whatever the assignment is will be easier to, you see, to do something about that. But you have to know the file. So this is the written. Am I clear? Yes. The timing, 90 minutes case study, 90 minutes written, very similar in all aspects except domain of competence. Marco, you wanted to say something? No? Okay, good. So we said case study, written test, and there are exams where they go only for the written. There are exams where they go only for the case study, and there are exams where they go for both. So I prepare my clients for both, and this way we are clear, if I say calm, that they could react whatever will come. Next, what do we do? General interview, competence-based interview, CBI, right? Competence-based interview is that you will go, say, they will ask you examples from your professional life in order to demonstrate the Epso competencies, right? So again, you could participate in a training where I will give you how to do it and how to prepare an example, and what is the good example, and what is the competence, and so on and so forth. Again, will be better to check once you have done it in individual sessions so that I could hear your examples and I could, let's say, check that they are correct. I'm giving you the last session I had with somebody who goes for ambassador. And I'm telling you, we had some fights because he, you know, he was so arrogant and he knows what to say and he knows no. And whenever we went for these examples, right, he started with the theory and you know, this is the way I'm doing all the time, and this is my habit. And I said, no, this is theory. I want an example. No, it's not theory. I said, yeah, but the example is the example, a concrete example, right? Tell me something concrete. Anyway, until the end, he accepted. After the fights, he accepted that his examples were not examples, were theoretical, whatever, principles. And then he went for the examples as we discussed. So, you know, sometimes it's tougher with some clients than others. But okay, that's the fun of working with people, right? Sometimes they are. And so this is the CBI. Then you have another interview, which is interview in the field, right? Obviously, this comes for, let's say, experienced people. I mean, experience could be an 86, right? As soon as you have a talent screener, you have an interview in the field. I mean, that should be normal, right? Because in the talent screener, you say you have the experience, whilst in the interview, they check that you have the experience. Makes sense? So the interview in the field, it's like, I say, it's not similar with the CBI, but it's an interview. But in order to highlight the Epso competencies, you have to highlight the duties of the field. Makes sense? So in Epso, in CBI, I will highlight analysis and problem solving. Good. But in the field interview, I have to show how I analyze, I don't know what, give me an example, how I analyze the economic situation of a member state in order to decide whether they deserve the recovery package or no, the reimbursement of the recovery package, right? You see, so the difference is that on one hand, I go for Epso competencies, which are, let's say, general. And on the other hand, I go for specific duties in the job that I have to demonstrate I have done. Is that clear? And then obviously it's come about 1 hour or something like that. And even when I'm talking about secretary, it's the same principle. You have, for example, in your competition, right, the girls, you have now an interview in the field, right? What I've done with my clients in this competition is to take the notice line by line, how to say, word by word, and to look for examples in her professional life that demonstrate that duty, that they have done it, they know how to do it. You see that? So even in this competition, we had the field, and this is the way I worked with my client, the responses. You see that, right? Now, the last test is the new thing, which is the role play. Right, so the role play. Now, we have 1 year, right? The last year, they have transformed the group exercise into situational interview, right? Now they change the name, so they don't call it situational interview, they call it role play. So I have a feeling that they change the difficulty of the exercise. That means make it easier, because the situational interview that I have seen in the last year, that means there were five competitions with a situational interview. They were quite difficult. They were quite difficult. So I enjoy them because they were smart, they were fun. I really enjoy this. Oh gosh, if they give me this, I say have fun, right? But it's not about me, so I'm sorry, I have to give up on that. But I'm telling you, I had fun with these exercises. But I have a feeling that they were too difficult for the, an 85, 86, who doesn't have the, let's call it maturity and wisdom to see what's there, right? So I guess they make it simpler. That's why they call 2 role plays, which is strictly role play, right? So now again, I work them in the training, in the group training, and in the individual session. Obviously, I will ask you to play the role. Makes sense? Obviously, it's as usual, right? In the training, I give you the knowledge. In the individual session, you show me how you apply the knowledge. And it looks to me quite a complete circle like this. Now, I suppose that if you are here, you know the program for the month. As usual, before, obviously, the first of the month, we announce the program for the month. So you could subscribe to the training. When you want to check your knowledge, let's say preparation, blah, blah, then you contact me directly to have an individual session. And I would recommend as soon as to start your preparation. You see, don't wait. Don't, how would I call this? Don't say, you know, I still have 1 week or 2 weeks. No, 2-3 months at least take. Do the preparation, practice, re-practice, think. You see, it's, and how to say that? If you decided to go for the Epso competitions, then go. Just go. Another one and another one, and so that's and that's the point with the, let's say, the trainings or the individual coaching that I do. You recycle them. You see, it's not because now you're participating in these 85 whatever economies that, and tomorrow will be 85, I don't know, audit, then so what? There's so much that you will recycle. You see that. So this is important to have in mind, right? That once you prepare a competition thoroughly, then you just recycle the material for the next one. Make sense? Good. I think that I gave you what I thought. Marco, do you want to ask a question, comment?
No, I didn't have any. Yeah, I didn't have any specific questions in mind, but these are useful suggestions, let's say, and the useful guide you're giving. Absolutely.
So, if you have questions, comments, whatever, I'm happy to also clarify them now. And
if I can ask, because you mentioned it was a group exercise changed into role play, and you said it was very, very difficult, but can you explore a little bit, I mean, on what, why was it difficult or above the...
Monica, it's if I have to give you the explanation, I will have to take 2 hours to give you.
Oh, okay. No shortages here.
No, they were very complex, right? So 25 pages, complicated scenarios with the task, with the people, with the political importance, everything, right? So And I said, because I was working, I don't know, yesterday or so, and I said to my client, yes, yesterday I was working with a girl in 85 law. And I said to her, that files, I'm talking about the 5 years, the 5 files in the situational interview that I saw last year. Now, these files were more complicated than the ones that I work with head of unit and director general. More complicated. So I think that they calibrate wrongly. That's my reading, but I will tell you more as I will see the next five, say the newest, but they were more complicated than for a DG position. You can't do that. It's, you know, so very complicated, but as I said, you know, real fun. Now, I suppose that what I will see when the next competition comes, either yours on the secretary, or I will have a role play for the 85 law. So I will have role plays now immediately. So let's say to check my feeling or my understanding. For the moment, I don't know. Let's say I don't have any confirmation. That's my reading. They were complicated, really complicated, but very fun. It's like a puzzle, right, to do. So, but as they say, when I do the role play, for example, if you're interested, I think I have the, let me see. Yes, 24th of January, I have this role play situational training. So that certainly I will do an overview of this. Marina, you wanted to say something?
I would like to thank you. It's really great to hear from you everything in such structured way. What you told about the CV, I think it's very important because we have to stress in CV the similarities with the competition and maybe to hide some things because it's always
yes, but that depends on how you do it, right? Because it should not be a marketing tool necessarily. I mean, brutally, right? The CV and the ones who work with me know I'm doing one CV for the client. I don't do several CVs. So this time I play this and no, one. So the CV shows the best of you, but how to say, the truth about you. Makes sense? Mm-hmm. So yes. That's a very important aspect to have in mind, that you will have at a certain point of the competition to defend your CV, right? So you cannot write whatever looks good. No, you will have to defend it. And it's important for you to keep in mind that that defense, you see, will be face to face with someone who knows what's there or what's about. And so that's why I'm saying to my clients, stay decent. Stay decent in the CVs and then obviously in the responses throughout the process. But mostly, yes, we will do our best to have you know, a good CV, but we will not go beyond decency. Good. I will have to leave you because obviously you will like to have a little bit of lunch before starting again, right? So thank you very much for your
thank you, Carmen.
presence, and hope to see you soon.